subscriber special for my channel. I've actually come quite a long way, going from 100 subscribers to 200, and I mean, it's all because of you guys that I've reached this level. It's humbling. My apologies. I just kind of I had to nap a little bit after a job that I did, so it just a little thing. It happens. Let me check. That's also why there was a slight delay, about 15 minutes. Partially it's to make sure everything's all right. Partially it's to, get ready. I try not to do that. I know they say that in order to increase engagement, what's that word? You try and push that live stream back. I mean, that was part of the reason why I pushed the stream back a little, is to get a little bit of that engagement. But at the same time, it's, I've set the time. I need to go forward with that time. So I do apologize about that. Outside of that, the Sonic Heroes review that I'm working on, it's getting there. Sorry. It's slow. I'm hoping to get it done by May. That's kind of the plan moving forward. After that, we'll see where it goes with the stream. Thinking about Shadow the Hedgehog after Sonic Heroes, but we'll see. A lot of plans among plans, as I like to say. So let's get on with the Henry Stickmin collection. So we're gonna lower this down just a bit. So
last night.
Still a little loud. So there I am in the old room. So
Hello there. I didn't see you come in.
the Henry Stickmin collection was the last review I did before getting into the Navy. I did a lot of exercise to try to get in. Other than that, the reason I have this weird starting at the beginning was due to hold on. To you it's probably low. To me, I can hear myself. I'm hearing it. It's a bit hard. This was a review I wanted to get done fairly quickly, because at the time, I'll say it later, Flash was going out, and I wanted this to be like a final hurrah before Flash is done, because I grew up with Flash and I wanted to get that done. And this was like the perfect game, because at the time everyone was talking about it. It's the Henry Stickmin collection, the game that you all grew up with and played with on Newgrounds. Although I have some comments on that I will bring up. So let's continue. Yeah, this was a joke I wanted to do just from everything. Also, the background music, this was one of the first I tried, well, not the first, but using the soundtrack, experimenting. And as I said, I didn't have a history with the Henry Stickmin collection. This wasn't a game I played. I had played other games, but yeah. Best Flash game in my opinion. That is difficult. The best one I think that is a hard question, the Noob Raptor. it would it would probably be something from Miniclip, but that is a tough question. I'm going, just for time reasons, I'm going to default to The Last Stand, because that was, let's move the cursor, that came out at the time when I was really big into zombie culture and like zombie survival, and it was like, this is a great game towards that. Moving forward, I think I would probably move towards, oh, I don't remember. It was a Stickman life simulator. I don't remember the name. I think it's still in Newgrounds, but it was this game where you follow this world and you kind of have to survive and find a way out. You need to make enough money to get a big mansion. Another Flash game was a game that poked fun at McDonald's. But a lot of the Flash games I played were on the Cartoon Network website. I don't think they host them anymore, although you could probably find the APKs of the files. So.
Prominence in the late 90s, early 2000s internet culture as the premier program to use when making animation in online games. Part of this was how simple the program was to use. Don't believe me? In its heyday, hundreds of web cartoons.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to just do this. So. These games, a lot of these games come out were very weird. Yeah, they were using Flash well up into the end. My Little Pony, I think, was the last high profile of them. The Clock Crew, I don't know if anyone still remembers them. Super Smash Flash, everyone remembers that. I used the teaser in this instance. I thought they had released, but no. Unlike a lot of my reviews, there wasn't much I could go off from research, because a lot of the material was, here's a Wikipedia page, here's the TV Troops page, and that was it. So it was fairly limited on this. But like I said, I didn't grow up with the Henry Stickmin collection, so I didn't grow up with these games on Newgrounds. I had to go into it from Steam. And in fact, I'm still impressed that a lot of these games are now on Steam. Not all of them. There's a third one I'd like to try, but yeah, this was weird to getting B-roll, because you don't have a lot of people talking about Flash. So I used different Flash games and the like. Funny thing about that security vulnerability. When I was young, we had the family computer. I know how everyone talks about going on Napster, downloading some songs, and then bricking the computer and then trying to figure out how to fix it. In my case, what I think had happened was I was going on Newgrounds quite a lot. And this was at the time when Newgrounds they were strapped for cash, and so they started having advertisements for porn sites. So imagine like a 5 or 10-year-old me going on Newgrounds playing this large selection of games, and then when you exit out, you got like pop-up ads of, porn site. It also didn't help that I didn't understand what porn was at the time. I was stupid. I just thought, oh, funny animations. I didn't realize what it was sometimes. But that was true of the old internet. That was true of the internet back in the day. We were, on one hand, we were a lot more draconian, but on the other hand, it was very much, if you knew where to look, you could probably find some hardcore shit. And excuse my language on that, but it really was a wild waste back in the day. It is still, in an extent, not how it is now. Now it's tame compared to what it is now. I am amazed at how much I was able to get away with on YouTube. Sorry, on Newgrounds. I kind of wish I got into Flash, but I didn't understand how programming or how Flash worked.
As a result, HTML5 started to rise in prominence in light of
Are you talking about the games, Stick RPG, and McDonald's video game? I think. I know it's a McDonald's video game. I don't know about the Stick RPG.
and then you have content creators like Footballs United who have commercially released their games on platforms like Steam.
I will say about my Newgrounds, I love that they have their own player to play these games. I'm so glad about that. I'm here. What did I miss? Oh, hi Alex. What did you miss? I mostly miss talking about a lot of my early experiences with Flash. Not much other than the internet was crazier back then. I did have to delay the stream just a little bit. We haven't reached much in the way of Sonic, if that's what you're wondering. Oh wait, no, different person. Sorry, Alex, I confused you with someone else. No, I was mostly talking about just Flash games, Flash content of the early Newgrounds. That was 100 years ago. The delay or our Flash, because yeah, it's been like 4 or 5 years. Please tell me I'm not that old. But yeah. But yeah, when I did this review, I wanted to get it done. There's two reasons. I wanted to get this done before Flash was discontinued. And before... We're going to pause this real quick. And before I went into the Navy, at the time I was doing work 1 month on one project and work another month on another. Yeah, the delay. It was 15 minutes. There was a couple of reasons. Yeah, I wanted to get this done in the month of December before I started working on a Equestria at War mod, which I've pretty much said I can't do this anymore. It's a combination of Hearts of Iron 4 constantly updates that it makes me really unhappy, and Equestria at War kept updating. It's like, I can't keep up with this. And then I went into, and then there was the fact that I was in the military for 4 months before I was discharged, and a lot can happen at that time. There was like, I can't do anything. I'll get more into the military aspect later, just a bit. But yeah, no, you didn't miss much, Alex. This Rant Sona I had commissioned from an artist. Her deviant art should be in the review for the Henry Stickmin collection. That's actually not the original design. Originally, and this was a mess up on my end, the horn in My Little Pony, a lot of the horns are spiraled. This horn isn't, and that is specific to the design. And technically that is the same character from the Hearts of Iron 4 mod I made. The glasses and the neckerchief, funny enough, that was from My Ponytown or Ponytown. The sprite I used for me is that. It has the red glasses and the well, I really am not thinking scarf. And that's just constantly added in by every artist, and it's like at this point I might as well just make it a part of the character. I also commissioned it because at the time the ninth season of My Little Pony was coming to an end, and it's like, okay, I might as well get what I want from this now before it's done, because once this show ends, there's going to be a brief period when, yeah, see you around, Alex. There's going to be a brief period when all that merch is gone. And I picked up what I could, a lot from artists and commissions, and I'm glad I was able to. There is actually a 3D model of this character for Source Filmmaker. I don't know how to use Source Filmmaker. One day I'd like to use Source Filmmaker and that model, but that's... I don't know how I'll get that to work.
Wait, why am I a pony? This doesn't feel right. I have no hand!
Yeah, I still have the files for that Ransona. I don't know. I'll have to look for them.
Good choice. Though this game presents a unique challenge. Since the gameplay...
Although the artist that made the 3D model, I don't think he does 3D models anymore. I don't know what happened to them. I hope they're okay.
Good. Let's begin. So, our game begins with Breaking the Bank, the first game. Or prequel, as the remaster.
Yeah,
The
the
objective is simple.
Breaking the Bank
Desert. Why is there a bank?
is... It's not really a chapter, it's more of just a tutorial. It's fairly short, but I think there's like 2, 3 endings. It's really short compared to later episodes of Henry Stickmin. Yeah, during the recording of this, I had to do... I think what I did was I tried to do as many of the fail states as possible just to get B-roll, because this is a fairly short game, and I need B-roll for the review. And at the time I was watching... Yeah, Gray Still Plays, and he was looking at this, and so I had an idea already of which directions to go. But my memory is... so I didn't remember everything. Yeah, the second episode of the Henry Stickmin collection has quick time events. It's the only chapter that does that, if I recall. It's a short chapter.
Next is Stealing the Diamond. On TV, Henry learns that the Tunisian
Uh,
diamond is now on display at the museum. In debt, Henry
The Stealing the Diamond chapter, there's one ending that I don't think a lot of people get, if only because it's just involves not stealing the diamond. This was a funny thing to edit, just, you know, oh, he steal it, yeet. Yeetus! I think it was also the chapter I didn't use a lot of footage from, because again, it's fairly short.
The next chapter is Infiltrate the Airship, and oh boy, are you in for a treat.
Yeah, this is the chapter that has a lot of variety.
Government is fully aware of Henry's skills and wants to use them to bring down a criminal clan known as the Topak clan. The government wants Henry to find some evidence, as up to this point,
Black Hawk helicopter. Yeah, that was the thing with Flash. They used a lot of just wild things. Again, another funny use of the footage.
after selecting a method to infiltrate the airship, Henry steps aboard and does something. So this chapter has quite a lot of
Yeah, there's a lot of fail states and directions to go in this chapter. It's one of the weirder chapters. That being said, I don't know if you can get soft locked into the next chapter by something you do here. But I don't know. It's weird. I'm sure someone would better explain it.
selecting whether to side with the Topak's government or go rogue, but unless you go down a certain route, you're pretty much locked into one ending for each option. I also find this chapter to be somewhat bland. It might be because there's just so many endings that I just kind of get burned out at the end. I think it's a mix of
Yeah, it is the chapter with the most with a lot of variety that it kind of railroaded at the start, more or less.
chapter cleanly complex. So Henry has somehow been caught
Again,
and is now incarcerated at the wall. No relation to Pink Floyd. As Henry
in hindsight, I probably should have used a JPEG of the hammers marching, but I didn't. I don't listen to a lot of Pink Floyd. This is the chapter where I don't know if there's sorry about that. This is the chapter where I don't know if there's a soft lock, because if you go a certain route, you call your friends to help. And as far as I can tell, I haven't seen any footage of, you're going down that route and then you're told, oh no, you got to go back to the earlier chapter to get this. I have not seen footage of it. I've seen fan footage. I don't know about the Henry Stickmin collection with that case.
Or even call it a favor. And like before, what you choose here will determine your ultimate ending in the next chapter. I actually quite like this chapter. I think it's partially because of how the different starting options are and how they play out. I also like that you can choose either to stealthy escape or go loud. Basically, I find this chapter to be a good mix of content and
Like I said, I don't have much connection to the Henry Stickmin collection outside of playing it on Steam.
Depending on how you finish infiltrate the airship and flee the complex, your experience and finish the mission will vary. Maybe Henry is out for revenge against the Top Hats. Maybe the government is calling on Henry one last time to help bring down the Top Hats. Or maybe Henry is doing one last heist to complete the trio of gems in his collection.
Yeah, the Henry Stickmin collection has that whole trio of gems, but they don't go far. Like, once it's ignored fairly quickly by the end.
Accessing this content is dependent on what you did in the two previous chapters. So if you want to see the different ways the saga can end, you need to unlock the previous endings.
Yeah, a lot of references in this game, and I'll get to the problem about that soon. Yeah.
I do have one complaint with this chapter, and that's the lack of variation. Once you make your decision at the start, you're pretty much
Yeah,
locked into that specific ending.
that is one of the problems with this chapter, that outside of what you did in the last two chapters, there's really no variation, and you're stuck on a certain route.
Overall, it's
There's one where it varies, and that's about it.
and that's the gist of the Henry Stickmin collection. It's not a long story or game.
Yeah, it's a fairly short story, all things considering.
It's a simple choose-your-own adventure game with some funny fail states. Part of the appeal this collection has is a reminder of a simpler time when you would go to Newgrounds, pick a game of animation, and spend hours upon hours
Yeah.
on a treasure trove of content. Sure, you might
That's part of the reason why I think it's a good idea that the Henry Stickmin collection is still around, because, like I said, back in the day, if you didn't have a PS2 or an Xbox, you know, the Newgrounds was an amazing website to go to play games. You know, it was all free, it was all fun, and I'm sad that that's not the case anymore. Newgrounds is still active, and you can still play the games there, but it's not the same as it was, because now it's, well, what program do you use to make these games and animations? You don't use Adobe, because they now require a subscription, and I'm sorry, that is like the biggest advertising failure of any company. You know, to have a program that was free, relatively speaking, and then you're like, oh, okay, you now need to use part of the animation suit just to do this, and you can't buy it. You have to pay a subscription. And like, I get it. It's a powerful software. I get that. But like, come on, Adobe. You know, if Flash had been a subscription service, I doubt we would have seen just the blooming of it.
And indeed, that's what you feel with the Henry Stickmin collection. This feels like a labor
Yeah,
of love.
it's a labor of love.
United could have just released the games and called it a day, but instead he went further and remastered the game. And can I just say, the visuals, they look fantastic. You look at this and say, yeah, I remember, this is what this game looked like all those years ago. Then you actually look at
Yeah, I actually went back and got
wow.
only the first game footage. I didn't do the other games.
But here's the thing,
And
just because something is called a labor,
and here's the thing about remasters. And this is relevant for what's going on nowadays with gaming. I appreciate that a lot of the old games are being remastered or re-released, like especially today. If you go to at the time of this review of this stream, Marathon is free on Steam. The Aleph 1 port of Marathon is free on Steam, and apparently they're planning to do Marathon 2 and Marathon Infinity, which now makes me want to do Marathon as a review, because Infinity is gonna be fun. Oh boy! But nowadays, a lot of games, when they get remastered or re-released, they either go the route of it's the exact same thing and you look at it and go, why are we rebuying this? And in other instances, they're like, we redid everything, and we look at it and go, this isn't the same game. There's another issue, and I'll bring it up once I hits in the review.
Love doesn't mean it's free from faults, and the collection has some faults. Let's
Yeah.
begin small and work our way up. First is the music. Oh, nothing against the
So,
music. There are some nice songs.
the thing about the music, when I did the review, I actually contacted Puffballs United on Newgrounds and said, hey, I'm doing a review. Is it okay if I use your song? And he said, sure, which was impressive.
Yes, you heard me right. Linked. I mean,
Yeah, this shocked me when I did the review. It's a lot of games, a lot of older games used to have a jukebox or soundtrack available. Like, you'd go into the options menu and you can just play the music. But here, for whatever reason, or on Steam, if you can buy the game and the soundtrack is included somewhere on the files. I don't know where. No one does. It's just somewhere. For this, for whatever reason, Puffballs put the soundtrack as hyperlinks to Newgrounds, and I don't know if it was a licensing thing. I don't know if it was just an agreement. I don't know if it's just he didn't want to release the soundtrack, or it was just, here it is anyway. It was very unusual, and I kind of would like to know what was his mindset for doing that. I don't think we will ever know, but it's hard to say.
it's nice that the music is free and all, but why hyperlinks? What happens if Newgrounds goes down, or if I have
Yeah, I don't know how long Newgrounds is going to last. It's probably going to last a while, but you never know.
this collection was done by Puffballs United? Someone likes
Yeah, this was the other thing.
which makes sense. Creators of these
There was a lot of music makers back in the day, but
during development, Puffballs was given permission to use them.
a lot of them, I think, have gone on to either commercial or they're gone. It really depends.
Another issue is the extra content. Now, granted, these games were originally
This is another problem I have with Flash games. So I'm going to give myself some moment.
Pokemon collection has a multitude of achievements. Some of these involve clicking certain items, fighting certain key items, clicking certain buttons, etc. Now, most of these were present in the original games and were simply changed to unlock achievements. Alright, so far so good. What's the problem? Well, two collectibles were added. The first was in the form of characters from the game Among Us.
Yeah, this was back when Among Us was very big. It's still big to an extent, but it's not to the same popularity.
And that's it. Kind of underwhelming. The other little collectible added was Bios to the Deep.
So, this is something I've seen with this and The Last Stand, where they have, the game is out, and, it's been remastered, and there's nothing. They haven't put any collectibles, they haven't put any extra content. It's just, here's the game, that's it. And it was just, that's it. I appreciate that it's available, and I'm not pulling the whole, well, I could just play it on Newgrounds, but you couldn't have put like a jukebox mode or a making of or something. This just feels half-assed.
Characters. And when we mean characters, we mean all of them. That guard that
Yeah, this was something I didn't realize. I thought, oh, I can just grab the characters first and that's it. No, you have to,
with the guy in the foreground.
every chapter. I didn't know that. And I mean, 100%ing the game is not difficult. It's very easy. But at the same time, that's...
See these guys walking around? They are only present for a brief moment and each has a bio. Unless you act fast enough, you're going to be replaying this scene over and over and over again, getting these bios. And some characters are off in the distance, meaning they're teeny tiny. Are they characters? Maybe. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. There's not much in the way of consistency. But perhaps my biggest complaint is how bios collected in previous chapters don't carry forward. So, despite
In hindsight, I understand why but at the same time, I kind of wish, like in the case of Ellie, I kind of wish that the bios were saved.
Nope. You have to collect her bio twice. She's an easy. There's one character who appears in all but one chapter. He has a different bio.
I actually thought that character appeared in every chapter. He's only in he's not in one chapter. Yeah, this is a fairly short 100% completion.
Those are fun 7 hours, but after a while you get kind of bored seeing the same joke over and over
Yeah.
and over.
You can only play a game so often before you've seen everything.
There's an achievement, but that's it. I would like it if there was some sort of unlock
And the thing is, with Steam, achievements don't really mean anything.
for an in-game scrapbook, or maybe a commentary track on what happened behind the scenes. Something
That is something Puffballs needed. A commentary track. They needed to have placed a commentary track in this game.
get it. This is
And they didn't. I don't care if they do something like riff tracks where it's just Puffballs talking in the background. I don't care if it's just they talk over the gameplay or they do something what I did. There had to have been something.
why this is the case. There are references here and there that would have got the game hit the copyright lawsuit, and that's understandable.
And likewise, the whole again, this is the reason why you need to have something to show this is what the game looked back in the day, because if you don't know what it looked like back in the day, you can't really compare it to what you're doing now. As for the jokes, again, commentary track. I grew up with a lot of these memes, so I recognize them, but I don't know how many people recognize these jokes.
Why not have a screenshot showing what the game looked originally to help the user appreciate just what went into the remaster? Or maybe a guide to the
Yeah.
references to the game.
One other thing is I try to avoid having my cursor on the screen.
Indicative of internet culture of the time. Some of them have a
Yeah, so
understand, others may need some
yeah, this is the one that's concerning. That's the I'm a firing my laser. That's from Dragon Ball, but without knowing that it looks very problematic.
is played in full screen. Not an incorrect assumption. I mean, that is how the game looks. But let's pull the camera back and see the truth. Yes, what you're seeing is
That's the other thing.
played in a window.
I know some people like their game windowed. I like it full screen because, pays attention.
Way to remind yourself how these games may have looked, but what if I want to go full screen? Well, there is an option, and
Okay.
yes, you're reading this correctly. Apparently, going full screen mode.
So, this is the thing that there might be a problem with copyright memes, like how to use the TF2 voice lines. That is true. That being said, I do wish there was some... Like, if you're willing to put a link to the music, I think it would have been nice to put some sort of link to the memes or something. And, like, I don't know. This is something that actually got me thinking recently. So, oh wow, they actually... That's right, this game came out before Twitter became Elon Musk's favorite letter. The Twitter logo is still there. Oh man. Oh, Musk, you messed up. But no. So, the reason I'm pausing here about this whole full screen, when I was reviewing this game, and I bought the game, it was like $30. It may have been $40. I think it was $30. And I paid for it. And I play it up and I see the full screen option. I'm like, okay, let's play it with full screen because I obviously want it in full screen. And I get this warning. At the time it said beta. There's somewhere that said, don't click on full screen, it's a beta. And it's like, okay, hold on. I paid $30 for this. I've paid money. Why isn't a feature as simple, I say simple as full screen, why is that why exactly is that behind a warning? Isn't that something you should have, fixed? Shouldn't that be fixed or something? And no, it wasn't. I think it's when I buy a product, a game, I expect everything about that game to be working. And to see that it's not working as intended, I get a little unhappy because now it's why is it not completed? Why is it not working? And as a reviewer, I know later on someone said it's been fixed. It's fixed. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But I've already posted a review, and I'm not going back to work on another review. It's done. That ship has sailed. I am not doing another review just because they did a revision or an update. That's not how it works. And I say that moving forward, I've seen where where games are going, and what angers me, so this has to do with what happened with Helldivers, where the game came out, and okay, I didn't jump on it to begin with, but it plays, and then all of a sudden you have the PSNs thing, and I was watching a Saberspark video where he's like, this is an amazing game, I love this game, and then 4 days later they do the PSN thing, and it's like, whoa, that is bad luck. And as a reviewer, that would have destroyed me. It's like, what? I just posted a review. Why are you doing this big change? I can't amend it now, although I probably would. And that caused me to wonder, do I want to continue reviewing games? Because I'll get more to that another time, because I'm already rambling. Yeah. Yeah, I try to avoid bringing up price in games because it's not really something worth bringing up, all that thing.
I won't lie. I find the collection to be somewhat overpriced. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice game, and it is nice that Puffball's remastered it, but at $15, I kind of expect more something. Polish? At $15, I have some expectations. Like, I get you can't offer the soundtrack for purchase because of rights.
If I'm quiet, I'm trying to find the footage for the Last Stand review, which I don't know where I...
I'd be okay with it, but $15, I need a little more substance. Not much, just something.
What?
But that out of the way, what's my final opinion?
Did I put it in documents?
The collection is terrible and should not be purchased. I mean, come on, it's just a flash. What the? Oh, that can't be.
There it is.
Yeah,
I wanted to do that whole joke of, oh, I'm changing my mind, I messed up.
And as I said, there are plans for a full screen patch. Once that comes out, yeah, I find the price will better reflect the game. The game itself,
But it's still a bit much. Like $30. Yeah, that was when Fortnite was really starting to enter into vogue. Still too very early, but I could be wrong. It might just be 20, but at the time it was a substantial price for what you were getting.
I'm Walter Norton. This has been a.
So,
If you excuse me.
yeah, this was a sign of things to come.
It's begun. Quick, Henry, distraction.
Still a good song. The Henry the I how do I not forget the distraction song? Thing is, this song is short, and I had to edit it to loop. All the memes, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and everything.
As I was saying, I'm Walter Norton.
Yeah, I'm not a good dancer. And this was back when I was still the Artsy Emporium. This was back when I still did uh, ending credits. I don't do them anymore because they don't really help much, and I find it's an editing issue. And if there's any information I want to put, it's going to be in the description. So that was the Henry Stickmin collection. Like I said, this was the last review I did before going into the military, the Navy specifically. As you can tell, it was a lot of getting this done at the time. My only regret with it, I think, is the fact that the Henry Stickmin collection was too new. I think I should have waited a little bit. And this isn't a price drop. I think it was because of the patch. But at the same time, if I get it too early, I'll put it this way. The part of the reason I don't like reviewing games, or I have problem with reviewing games, is if I get a game that's too new, I have no guarantee that the game's going to be the same years down the line, and I like to make sure my reviews are still somewhat relevant years later. And that can't really work if, say, there's a Cyberpunk 2077 issue where, like, a year late, I think 2 years later, they do a massive patch that changes everything with Cyberpunk 2077. Well, what does that mean by my review? Does that mean I now have to do a review 2.0? Do I have to do Cyberpunk 2077 review red? No. This was at the time, but it makes my review pointless. Coincidentally, paradoxically, I mean to say, if I do an older game, then I have the issue of, can I make this work on my computer? What do I need to do to make it work? Did I get it on Steam or GOG? And 9 times out of 10, you want to get it on GOG because they make sure it runs perfectly for the most part. You get it on Steam, it's 50-50. But that's not... I got a powerful computer. Why is it not playing the older games? The older games should run flawlessly, but they don't. And I have to do rummaging around for fan patches and the like just to make sure it works. And I have no guarantee that, say, in 5 months, the company, whoever owns the game, is going to be like, oh, hey, we've remastered it, or we released a patch and now it works on modern hardware. And it's like, oh, good, my review is now invalid. Great. But like I said, I've rambled a bit too much. What's going on? I've rambled a little too much on that. So what we're now going to go is into The Last Stand. And we're going to go to video capture. Yeah, The Last Stand. This was obvious for context. This was the first review I did after the military. You may have noticed these two reviews happened at the same time. I was in the military for 4 months before I was discharged for medical reasons. I'm not going to get too much into that for reasons, but that will help explain some future reviews, which we'll come into later. But yeah, this was the first review I did after the Navy. I decided to put like a last time, which involved getting the old audio, the old footage, and doing this. Yeah. So, if you're an eagle-eyed viewer, couple things. Yes, that is an Irby mech from the BattleTech Kickstarter. I like BattleTech. If you notice my undershirt, that is the PT shirt that the Navy gave at the time. I think they've changed it. You may have also noticed that the room I'm in is pretty bare. That was because after I left for the Navy, I packed up a lot of things because, hey, military, expected to be in the military for a while. That didn't go anywhere. And then later on, we would move. Another funny thing. That DVD, when I bought that DVD, it was like $20. It was still new in the cellophane. And I was like, oh, this creates some unique possibilities. I have the VHS version of that movie, of the Digimon movie, but I wanted to use the DVD. To do this whole sequence, I took a picture of some of the doors in my room. We put "Don't open Digimon," but with how the duct tape is, it looks like "Don't Digi Open Mon." That is a reference to The Walking Dead. No, I do not watch The Walking Dead. I'm not a big fan of The Walking Dead for multitude of reasons. To do the ghost sequence, we had a green screen set up and had some fishing line duct tape to the DVD, and my brother move it all over the place randomly in front of the green screen, and I made the footage somewhat transparent so it looked like a ghost. And yeah, so that's the other thing. When I was in the Navy, I was doing, I really like Tamers. I want to do a review of Tamers. One of my methods of reviewing is I tend to vocalize what I want to do the review. And at the time I was like, we need to get Kanaka. He needs to come back and to do Digimon. And then he did his whole cancel culture thing, and it's like, no. And this happened while I was in basic. And it was just, he's never working with Digimon ever again. Bear in mind, this was during COVID. This was during when that disease was active. And some of the things he was saying. This whole review was done while that was happening, and there were some crazy situations. I think you can get the Irby mech nowadays without the Kickstarter. Yeah. So, doing this review of The Last Stand helped me get back in the groove of doing reviews in general. So, yeah, I was shocked to learn that The Last Stand was on Steam, because I liked this game, and it was surprising to learn that, oh, it's on Steam. And at $10, it's actually a good steal. But I didn't realize it was released to coincide with the release of another game. That's also why the Digimon theme song is used here, because of that whole Ghost of Digimon. It was intended as a joke. Did it work? I don't know. This was also the first review that I really used green screen, and there are a couple of reasons I used green screen, but I'm going to hide that.
Series, Call of Duty keeps making zombie mode, and Nerf sells blasters
and Nerf
game that more or less is banned on many college campuses.
Yeah, Nerf doesn't do the zombie strike line anymore. At the time when I was doing this, they were kind of pulling away from that. I'm saddened that they've done that, because I really liked the zombie strike line. I think it was one of their best lines, but yeah, I'm glad I got some of the zombie strike blasters. I'm glad I was able to do the review when this line was still active. As for the game, the game that's banned on college campuses, there's a game called Zombie, and it's famous for being played on college campuses, where you've got two teams of players, you've got humans and zombies, and the idea is, over the course of a week, the humans are trying to survive as zombies slowly overtake the campus. It's kind of like an ARG. And when I was in college, I actually had the not honor, the privilege of seeing that game play at least 2 of my semesters. I wanted to be a part of it, but I didn't have the money to buy the blaster I wanted. And from what I understand, you had to register. As I go, Hammershot or Maverick? Personally, I prefer the Hammershot because it's easier to use, and it really is designed for Nerf fighting, because you can use it one-handed. For a Maverick, you have to cock it, and I get that the Maverick is the most popular Nerf blaster out there, but if I were in a Nerf war, I would much rather use the Hammershot. And that mechanism they use for the Hammershot has been used on a few other Nerf blasters. They don't use it that often anymore, and I think it's because of they want to go away from the this is an actual firearm thing. Because at the time, Nerf blaster, you walk into the toy line of Nerf, it was like going to a gun show. And I've been to gun shows. They're fun, but you got to be careful, especially when you see the weird things that make you go, who's buying this? And then you go there a second time and you realize, oh yeah, no one's buying this. But like Nerf blasters, they're so cool, and I'm disappointed where the line has gone nowadays. But yeah, I had the privilege of seeing Zombie being played on a college campus at least 2 semesters. I think it was canceled the second semester because of obviously gun concerns, but also there was the rumor that someone was using a paintball or airsoft, and that was a big no-no. That's one of the problem with these type of things. It very quickly becomes a, hey, look at how much money I can waste on something. And I think their concern was either A, you're going to get those type of guys that are going to run around blasting people with BBs or an actual gun, or alternatively, you're going to get the issue of someone's going to pull this thing out and we're going to get a death. It's what we'd call a safety concern. And I understand why the college did that, and in hindsight, they probably did the right call. On the other hand, it's an experience that I'm sad that I did not get to participate in, and I'm sad that many other kids, college students won't be able to participate in. So I understand why, but I don't have to like it.
But it wasn't always like this. For many horror fans, zombies.
So for this, I actually went on Internet Archive to get footage of Night of the Living Dead. And believe it or not, Night of the Living Dead is public domain. So you can actually watch it for free for the most part. The films I showed with Twilight, Teen Wolf, and Young Frankenstein, that was specifically to show, ooh, scary, but then poke fun at it.
Did the perceptions of the horror really enter the public mind as zombies could ruin?
And yes, there is a zombie romance movie. I can't believe that is an actual thing because
Horde and they keep coming. Sure, werewolves require several bullets to kill, but at least you need just one bullet. Zombies, regular ammunition might kill them.
yeah, part of what I did for this was I did read up on the social commentary of zombies, which is to say I did a brief reading on Wikipedia, and that was about it.
In essence, they became the perfect villain for man's technological edge. It also became the perfect thing for people to live out there and survive.
If you ever notice in my review some weird blue artifacting, that's because I didn't properly do the green screen. I was still learning at this time.
Explosion of media pertaining to surviving the zombie apocalypse. Now, I want to preface
Funny thing about The Last Stand, Call of Duty Zombies was partially inspired by The Last Stand, at least according to Con Artist Games. So, and yes, I did own a copy of the Zombie Survival Guide. It was actually an older copy because I had it since I was in grade school. Like I said, I was very big into zombie survival at the time. Cringe, but yeah, unlike the Henry Stickmin collection, I did play The Last Stand, and I loved The Last Stands 1 and 2. Union City, I didn't really play it, so... I will say Con Artist Games did an amazing job porting the Flash game to Steam. It's practically one-to-one, and I kind of wish he did more. Yeah, it's a fun game for $10. I mean, I'll get to the problem with price in this case. The funny thing about this review was because I was decent enough at The Last Stand, just from memories, I was actually able to... I didn't have too much trouble playing. I was actually able to get through the game without too many fails, without too many deaths. That was the other problem I had with this game. You can have all these survivors on the wall, and they're shooting, they're not hitting, or they're not shooting, and it's just, what's the point of having these guys if they're not going to do anything? I do think the more survivors you have, the better your wall will repair, so there is a reason to have survivors repairing the wall. And for those who don't know, there is a Barrett 50 cal that you can unlock. Yeah, this was something I didn't, even as a kid, understand, because the big thing with zombies is you shoot them in the head, they go down. Everyone knows that. As far as I can tell, that's not how this game works, or if it is, it's not telegraphed that well. And when all these zombies are moving in layers, you don't know if you're shooting at the head of one zombie or the other. Or they do something like this, where they're grouping up, and it's like, which one's going to get hit, if at all. Yeah.
Damage is dealt in this game, it's very possible that your shots are going to be spread out amongst 3 zombies, which means what should have killed 1 zombie with potential headshots instead hits 3
Like I said, I still have no idea if headshots are a thing in this game.
Blindly fire back at the horde. Thankfully, you have your trusty survivors. Surely they'll fight back against the horde, right?
Nope.
For whatever reason, the survivors helping you rarely fire their weapons. Look, the zombies are right at the gates, and these guys are just standing right there. And when they do fire, it's rare they hit anything. I don't understand why these guys just sit here and do nothing.
Yeah, this was the issue with the game. I still love The Last Stand. I still love this gameplay mechanic, but at the same time, it's like you can see that this was a build-up to something else. Yeah, if you play this game, you basically need the chainsaw at all times.
The problem is because you only have 2 slots to equip weapons, which should mean you have options to experiment with weapon loadouts. But once you unlock the chainsaw, this experimentation goes away, and you're left using a ranged weapon and a chainsaw, simply because the chainsaw is that good at dealing with zombies that reach the wall. It's simply overpowered. Finally, the content.
Yeah, you know, this is one of those things of you want your weapons to be balanced, because then you get situations like this where it's like, why would I use anything else?
To be fair, this was the case back when the game came out, so it's understandable. But still, this game is short, and it needs
I really wish this game had a endless mode, because there is no endless mode.
to build off. Yes, it has its problems, but they're not that critical to the gameplay experience. It's a well thought out and good concept for a game. A concept that would be refined.
Yeah, I still stumble over my words at times.
Ah, yes, 2008's The Last Stand 2. Like any good sequel,
Again, great memories. I loved this game when it came
turns
out.
out one of your survivors was infected, bringing the helicopter down. Somehow surviving, you make your way to a store and hold out till morning. You soon learn that there's an evacuation from the mainland out of Union City. Problem? You're not in Union City. To compound your problems,
Here's the thing.
40 days to reach
You can arrive at Union City late. It doesn't matter at what time. That whole, get there or bust, it's sort of like ending. If you get there early enough, okay, you got the good ending. You got there late, you got the bad ending.
urgency to your actions while also making you think of just what you want to
I do like the design of the postcard with the mallard duck with the duck at the end, at the corner. It really adds to the character of the game.
planning. Nighttime is holding back the zombies from the wall, while daytime is spending 12 hours planning for the next.
That is an amazing mechanic. I wish they did it. Con Artist Games did an endless mode where you're just going from city to randomly generated cities.
Selecting what buildings to search. Each building requires a
But
certain amount of
no,
weapons.
they didn't do that.
You will want to search as many buildings as you can. In addition to weapons and survivors,
Although I
you can also
think the
find
game
bugs, so help you move from
State of Decay did something similar to that.
because now their value has gone up. For starters, the survivors actually fight back. They actually fire their weapons and kill zombies if given the chance. What's more, you can now equip weapons to your survivors, increasing the amount of bullets flying towards the horde. Yes, the maximum number of survivors has gone down to 4 from the previous game 7, but at least those 4 survivors actually fight back. And if you're worried that
Yeah, the survivors in this game do a good job of fighting back, unlike the last game.
mines that blow their legs off to propane tanks that explode with shots.
Funny thing about this,
Now have new weapons to fight back against the zombies.
so my brother also played
RPG 7
The Last Stand, and I brought up, oh, these traps are way too around too often.
That's not to say the zombies aren't packing some
But
tricks.
and he's like, what are you talking about? I'm rarely getting them. And I'm like,
Running towards you, why a fat zombie running towards you with a knife that they'll use to kill one of your survivors. That's right. Zombies
Yeah,
can now
it's-
kill your hardworking
that can be quite devastating. Like I said, this is a great game and a great concept. I just wish they did more with it.
Yeah, might as well get into the problems with this game. For starters, still no idea if hitting certain locations causes more damage. Like
Again,
before,
telegraph
there's
stuff,
some variability, but I'm not certain. I'm also not a big fan of the traps. They can kind of be useful at times, but honestly, they tended to be too little to really stem the tide of battle.
Yeah, they really don't do
See
much.
these traps like
Um,
Halloween. That's nice and all, but I would much rather have more survivors. For whatever
The funny thing about the rocket launcher, when I showed that sequence to my brother, me moving the chainsaw for the rocket launcher, he laughed and was like, "Okay, yeah, this is going to work."
And given survivors can die in battle, that's sort of a problem. I mean, I get it. Try and keep your survivors safe by killing those weapon zombies first. But that can be kind of impossible.
For those who don't know, Fort Tran was only available for armor games. You couldn't unlock it in the standard play. You had to go to a specific website to play that.
How I need to really consider what I can
That wasn't too common back in the day. That was very rare that Flash games did that. So,
time management, you'll make it to the Union City no problem. One element I did not touch on with the first game was the music, mostly because the first game lacked much in the way of music. I mean, there were
So,
some ambient tracks here.
there are some songs, ambient tracks. It's very limited, and as far as I can tell,
Different cities, but not much else. And then comes in the content, which is lacking. Or there's no
again,
endless mode or endless campaign.
an endless mode where you go to randomly generated cities to cities to cities. That would have been perfect, but they didn't. But Con Artist Games didn't do that.
I like how the
And I don't think he's going to go back to this style of gameplay anytime soon, especially with where he went later with the franchise.
and what towns you walk to. My only real complaint is the lack of extra content, but
Uh,
at the very least,
for those who don't know,
fleshed out.
whew,
Mind rude.
excuse me,
So let's see how Union City improves, and it's an RPG that takes little inspiration from what came before.
what?
So, if The Last Stand and Last Stand 2 are like Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, then Union City is like Shadow the Hedgehog. It doesn't really build on what came before, and you question some of the design choices that were used in the final product. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, but why am I talking about Shadow the Hedgehog? I need to talk about Sonic Heroes first.
So, 2011's The Last Stand Union City. I remember waiting for this game, playing the test releases Con Artist Games posted on their website. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Oh yeah, at the time, Con Artist Games was posting beta builds of this game, and it was usually like, here's 3 rooms where you can walk back and forth and grab random weapons and kill zombies.
It wasn't until I got this collectionized.
It was actually pretty fun, but it got boring rather quickly because it's like, oh good, I got the best weapons in the game. What am I doing? What's the end goal?
From the last 2 games. This time you play as a custom character who's coming home from work when you hit a zombie. Acting quickly, you worry about your wife or husband. You're playing as a female protagonist and try to see if they're okay. After you fight your way to your apartment, you learn that your significant other has escaped to the hospital due to a bite wound. Oh, that can't be good. You go to the hospital and learn your spouse has been evacuated to the stadium. At the stadium, you learn
No,
that
it's an okay story, but
the organization Herc is interested in your spouse and has moved them to another location. With some help from a janitor, you soon break into this new location and rescue.
yeah, I appreciate that this has a story, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think it fits the gameplay. I kind of would have preferred something different. I'll explain that later.
All they ask is you get them some explosives to breach.
A glitch.
Explosives you can get from an army base. Thanks to the help of your new friends, you and your spouse are able to reach a boat and escape from Union City. Only, except your boat breaks down and your partner starts to moan like a zombie.
I should have just said, only your boat breaks down and your... Yeah.
The story is kind of bland. I frankly did not care at all for the story. I had no interest in the plot, motivation.
Yeah, I think this game would have benefited the most from a lack of story. You know, just have it that you're going across the city.
That was it.
Almost like a pseudo sandbox. But no, they wanted to do a story.
This story needed a prologue that shows the relationship between you and your spouse. Maybe a tutorial where you and your spouse fight their way to a safe house. Only
Exactly. I had no connection to the
give context.
MacGuffin of this campaign. I had no connection. It's like, what's the point of going saving someone if I don't know who they are?
How linear this story is. For an RPG, I was kind of expecting some options, like maybe give me the option to use the janitor
So-
to sneak into the Herc compound, or allow me to just
At the time, I was playing a lot of Fallout 3, and I liked Fallout 3,
to make this RPG
and it sounded like this game was becoming like Fallout 3.
shooter, which kind of segues
It's not like Fallout 3. It's very linear.
feels confused. So, right from the get-go, Union City plays nothing like its predecessors. Instead of holding the line against hordes of zombies, you're instead exploring Union City, racking up XP, and walking through areas. Now, from the outset, this doesn't seem too bad. In fact, this seems like it would be amazing for a zombie survival simulator. And you're alright, it would. The problem is, that is not what Union City is. What Union City is a side-scrolling shooter with some RPG elements and basic exploration. And we tell you, it's not a pretty picture. To begin, let's look at the RPG system. In Union City, as you kill zombies and search, you gain XP. With enough XP, you level up and gain points that you can spend on skills. Skills that
Yeah, the game did
so
a...
limited in scope, you kind of wonder what's the point. In my playthrough,
The
I
X-
emphasized security,
The
smarts,
RPG system in this is just... bleh.
get more XP and have a chance to find random items while searching. Let me tell you, I was 2 out of 3 when it came to those skills, mainly because there are so few locks to pick that it was frankly not really worth having security. In fact, most of these skills are not worth it outside of search and smarts, because when you have high luck, you get a high chance to find skill books, high smarts, and you get more points from those books. A high search, and you
Yeah,
find
it-
those books quite frequently. Okay, so I cheesed the game. What does that mean for the RPG system?
I was not deliberately trying to cheese the game. I did not know that. I was just...
I never felt I got stronger or better.
You know, I wanted to... I think of myself as a smart person. I wanted to do smarts.
early on. So perhaps that made up
So-
for a terrible level in combat, right? Not really. I even went ahead and played a second game. This time
I didn't... The second playthrough, I didn't do too much because... It's like, I got the footage, I'm just moving on. And that's kind of what happened. But given how the other gameplay mode isn't that much different, it's not worth it.
said, except for maybe one or two swings, I was consistently hitting zombies and dealing damage. The point I'm trying to make is that the RPG system doesn't seem to really add anything. The same can be said for exploration or perhaps the lack of. Remember how I said the story was too linear? Well, that complaint also applies to the map.
Yeah,
Outside of
it's...
using the map to go anywhere to point out
So,
this area, you move through each location one after
if I had played this game when it first came out as a kid,
there's really not much
I think I would have been impressed by it, but I don't think I would have lasted long. I think it would have been a situation of I play it once and that's it, unlike the other games where it's like, I really like them.
but even then they usually amounted to find a small item and bring it back. There wasn't even
But I think in this situation, the problem was I had gotten into a quest and I couldn't complete it, and it's like, I don't know how to complete this, and I want to complete it, and that little nagging thing in the back of me is saying, complete it, and it's like, I can't complete it.
that maybe you can use these items to craft new weapons or perhaps sell these items for some quick cash.
This game needed a crafting and sales system, but there is no crafting and sales system. Like,
Two of them only accept cash, so yeah, no reason to loot or carry these items. Basically, this is a zombie survival.
yeah, if you're going to put items to loot, give them some reason, even if they're just vendor trash. Because at that point, it's like, what's the point of these items? I can't use them.
It plays more like a side-scrolling shooter than any RPG. And yeah, that was the difficult mode I played for my playthrough, but considering even survival mode, which added restrictions like sleep and hunger, didn't play all that different, yeah, I think there's something wrong with the concept in itself. This is where having that bedrock the first two games provided is important. Why not have it where the player sits
Yeah, those
and
awards you
gather
get from
enemies
playing
and
do
slowly
ruin the
increasing
game.
each member's skills individually. Maybe have it where you set up teams to explore Union City, maintain the base, or hunt down zombies. Make it where you have to think how you will survive, kind of how it was in the first two games.
This is something, the reason I add like a, well, here's how I think it should have done. Whenever we would go watch movies with my family, one of the things my dad would ask, well, how would you do it better? And it's like, how would I do the film better? And that kind of bleeded into this, which is, how would I make the game better?
The big one that I encountered was when zombies
This was an interesting glitch. It happened at least 2 or 3 times,
I had to save my
and
reload like 5 times.
my brother recognized it. And it's like, if I'm seeing this and he's recognizing it, this has got to be a fairly common glitch.
To be fair, I never encountered this glitch afterwards, but the fact that this glitch did happen, and happened so consistently in such a short time, had me worried and placed a thought in my head. Every time a zombie grabbed me, I became worried my game would soft lock. Doesn't help my brother also recognized this glitch when I described it. This one glitch caused me to lose confidence in Union City's ability to play. In comparison, the only glitch I encountered in the previous games was in The Last Stand 2, and that occurred only
I
one
did think,
time after
I don't know if anyone else has seen that glitch. It was just weird, like, here I am moving my dead body, and that's it. I don't know if anyone else has ever encountered that glitch. I think I'm one of the few people that have, but as far as I can tell, it's never been recorded. Yeah, The Last Stand, Union City needed work. But I don't think Con Artist Games is going back to this gameplay mechanic, because for a while he had a online Flash game where it was like an MMO, and when Flash went under, that game ended. But I have a feeling that was where he wanted to take the franchise. And now there's a roguelike he has. Con Artist Games also had a strategy game, but that only survived for like a month before he pulled the plug on it. I do hope he will release the other versions, the other games that he made based on that system. Another glitched era. Hey, you're on. Juan, I hate to say it, but you're kind of getting near the end of this stream. But I mean, here I am. If there's anything you want to ask, I'm right here. I have no idea if The Last Stand has been patched. I think it has been, but I have no idea. I hope it is, because I like these games.
The Last Stand 1 and 2 are well thought out and good examples of what this developer can create. I want to see where
Yeah, the Con Artist Games is, well, they are a good game designer. I hope they're doing more. I'm hoping they're publishing their World War One and World War Two game in addition to The Last Stand, because yeah, it's a lane defense game, but it's still a fun lane defense game. Digimon movie coming to Blu-ray with your opinion. Perfect time. I had no idea. At the time when I got the movie, I was under the impression that we are never getting a Blu-ray. We are never getting any re-release of the movie because of the quagmire that is that whole legal situation. Because it's like, it was done under Fox, but it's done with Saban. But Disney owns Saban, but Disney also owns Fox, but Toei owns Digimon. How is this going to work? And when I heard that it was getting a Blu-ray of, here's the first 3 films, here's the Japanese films, and here's the English movie, it was like, Discotheque, you did an amazing job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The DVDs themselves, that is poorly. That is poor. What do you mean poorly? You're talking about like was the Blu-ray terrible or was the film terrible? Because I was ecstatic that those films are getting a release. I'm kind of holding off explaining why, because I need to talk about that when I do talk about my review of Digimon. What do you mean by poorly? What happened? Is there something going on? Was the Blu-ray canceled? Your statement, and we will never get Digimon movie. Oh, I see. That is something I'm learning with a lot of what I'm reviewing these days, because when it comes to older games, I don't know if they're going to still work or if they're going to get a remaster. I want to review Star Wars Battlefront, but then that remaster came out, and then it turns out it's not that good. Or in the case of Sonic Heroes, where Sonic Heroes is out, people were talking about, oh, there's going to be a remaster of Sonic Heroes, and I was like, great, I was working on that. Good to know that my review is going to be outdated within 4 days. In the case of the Digimon movie, if I had known that film was coming out on Blu-ray, I would have held off reviewing that movie. I would have waited for the Blu-ray to come out and review it. But at the time, it was like, this is never going to be released. This is going to be one of those goodbye situations. I do feel sad for Angela Anaconda, because that's not going to be. I'm sad about Angela Anaconda because that's not getting any. They wanted to do a what was that called? Special feature, but they couldn't do the rights. Sonic Heroes. I've heard a rumor. There's a rumor going around that said that they're doing Sonic Heroes. Hold on. Oh, that's interesting. Apparently, Warner Brothers is no longer delisting Adult Swim games. That's interesting. No, my understanding about Sonic Heroes was there was a rumor by someone who said, hey, there's going to be a Sonic Heroes thing. Here's the thing about Sonic fans. We're crazy. We really like... If we hear that there's a rumor about an older title, we go crazy about it. Bear in mind, there's been talk about there may be a re-release of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. We grab at straws. It was one of those things of, oh good, there goes my review. What do I do now? Frontier was a good show. Came out in 2001. Everyone watching Secret Agent. Everyone watching Secret Agent. I want to play Sonic Adventure 2 in modern. I'll probably use them. Yeah. You really need the mods. Especially things like the randomizer, which are just peak. Some Call Me Johnny did a funny thing with that I highly recommend. Good show came out. Every watching Secret Agent. I've never heard of Secret Agent. But then again, there's a lot of shows that came out in the early 2000s that's like, I had no idea it existed. Like, there's a Men in Black television show. It's hard to believe. Character mod, they're fun to come on. We can play as Homer Simpson. That you can. It would not surprise me. But I haven't... If I ever do Sonic Adventure 2 again, I'd have to mod it, because when I tried to play it recently, I think they're tying something to the clock speed of the computer, and it's causing some weirdness with some of the effects. And if I ever play that game again on PC, I'm going to have to mod it to make sure it plays right. Let me just finish this up. As for this, I thought, do I use song at the end? And I decided no. I just decided to use random gameplay. There is no Thomas mod in the game. Thomas the Tank Engine. The tank. You can't put Thomas the Tank Engine in everything. At some point, Macho Man Randy Savage is going to take over. You can only go so far with Thomas the Tank Engine mods. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, that was basically the two Flash games. There was a third Flash game someone has suggested, and I recognize it because it's a RPG. It's not Stickman RPG. It was like Darkspawn RPG. Top 10 said age is very poor. Age is very poor. I'm okay. Do I have idea I want to be in a Flash game review? Maybe the Nickelodeon Super Brawl franchise. Nickelodeon Super Brawl. Hold on, let me check that real up. I know Nickelodeon, every website. Had some game thing. I remember when Nickelodeon had a I remember when Nickelodeon had some online top-down shooters. Number 1, Digimon. We will not get modern Blu-rays of the movie. I don't mentioning only for the third game. The third game have the weirdest roster. I did not realize that had a whole series. That's I'll have to look into that at some point. The files are still probably active somewhere. I mean, I remember when Nickelodeon did a whole game where Danny Phantom characters fighting Danny Phantom ghosts fighting each other, but to get the parts, you had to get codes from Burger King. It was a weird time. You got characters like SpongeBob, Turtles, Korra. That makes sense. And you got that makes sense that you got them at the time. Show they have like Bloom. Nickelodeon is all over the place. You can be in Europe, for instance. Nickelodeon isn't as popular, but they still know the characters, and so you get into situations where it's like SpongeBob is on some channels, but then Jimmy Neutron is on another. There's a game called like Nicktoons Party Time, but in Europe it was called SpongeBob and Friends Party Time because everyone knows SpongeBob. Cat Icarus talked about it with his iToy, if I recall. As for Digimon movie that I don't think we'll be getting a Blu-ray, I don't know about the X Evolution films. The X Evolution film, which would maybe one day. Believe me, the show have one of the weirdest multiple dubs for the kids. Have the right to the franchise originals. I mean, in the case of Digimon, all the dubs have their own charm. You're weird international, right? My mother grew up in Lithuania. We used to go to Lithuania every now and then. I'll say it was weird to see the television they have. Yeah, SpongeBob make the money. Yeah, but I don't know how long that's going to last. I have a feeling a lot of those actors, at some point, you're going to get an actor that passes away, and it's like, you can't replace them. Like, you are not getting another actor to replace them. Which might be why they're pulling away from SpongeBob and giving Patrick his own show, because, if one of them passes, it's like, okay, if Tom Kenny passes, we still got the guy that does Patrick. We can still do the Patrick show. If the guy that does Patrick passes away, that's okay. We still got Tom Kenny. But it's like The Simpsons. These actors are human, and after a while, they do want to move on. Yeah, you got your 90 LA voice actors at the time. The Mighty Joshua. I heard his voice in the SpongeBob movie. The Mighty Joshua. But yeah, I don't know how long many of these actors are going to go, because time is almost up. Yeah, I don't have much else to say for the commentary track right now. If there's anything you guys want me to ask, you can ask now before I say my plans moving forward with the reviews. I'll give it a moment just for everything. As you can see, I don't have much to add. I know it seems weird that I'm only doing two commentary tracks, but to chicken and waffles, yes or no? It's food, yes. I do miss the Taco Bell waffle taco. I don't know why they got rid of it. That was quite a good breakfast menu item. I like Taco Bell's breakfast menu. Anyway, as for where reviews going, obviously I'm working on Sonic Heroes. That's the next review moving forward. After Sonic Heroes, it's going to be Shadow the Hedgehog, because I kind of want to tie up the end of that era of Sonic. I'm going to hold off on doing the rest of the Sonic games because, like, I've played Sonic Riders, and I kind of want to wait a bit on that. Sonic and the Secret Rings, I don't have a copy. I need to get a copy at some point. 06 would have to be a milestone review. And so I'm not doing '06 anytime soon, partially because I don't want to do '06, which tells you why it would be a milestone review. I guess we'll say like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers, I'll do Sonic '06. Mention me and MFlow. Hi, Juan 44444 Gomez 4444 and MFlow. But yeah, after Shadow the Hedgehog, my plan would be to do I'm debating on whether to do Battletech the cartoon, because that's something I can do rather quickly. But I'm also interested in doing Tom Clancy's End War. I realize that's a mood whiplash to go from Shadow the Hedgehog to Tom Clancy's End War, but they both got guns. There was a weird promotional in the game. Did a promotional with I'm a Flow in Flow, the music video. Yes, In the Flow. That was with Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow with a couple months, he was going to start in his own movie. Gives me reason I need to really pump out that Sonic Heroes review. I do plan on getting the Sonic Heroes review done in May. That is a hard thing. That is the hard limit I need to. I can't procrastinate on that. Sonic Heroes is coming out in May. It will be coming out this month. Shadow the Hedgehog, I have no idea. But if I can hit it with the release of the with Sonic 3, yeah. Oh, that sounds interesting. We'll see. I'm hoping to get Sonic Heroes out in May. Go from N-word to Bluey to Mountain Dew review. Keep your fans guessing. Ah! Yes. Yes, just have the Spetsnaz invade, attacking the uplinks, while Bluey is just like, take off the bin chickens. She says, taking a baseball bat to a random Spetsnaz wolf, as the U.S. Joint Task Force are looking at this like going, that's all we needed? Meanwhile, Mountain Dew is just being thrown at everyone. It's just, Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew. But we'll see. And then next thing you know, I just do Battletech. It's like, yeah, you all thought I was going to do that. Curveball from curveball to everyone keeping the fans on their feet. I like experimenting, and this is a hobby, and I like to keep things fun. I don't think I'm going to reach moist critical levels. Do a review of a lamp. Yes, here's this lamp I bought at a store. It's real good. I don't know what to do. We'll see. As for commentary streams, I'll put it this way. If I can get 500 subscribers, I'll do a commentary stream on Digimon Adventure, the movie, and O2. If I can get 500 subscribers. After that, it would probably be, I would have to see. Tamers is a personal project that I kind of want to give its own commentary track on. But if I can get 500 subscribers, you'll see a commentary on Digimon Adventure, the movies, and O2. We'll see. O2. Lava lamps are cool. But at the same time, I may only do 2 videos, because when I first did these commentary and I did all those Sonic reviews, that was quite a long, and after a while I just kind of burnt out by the time I got to Sonic X. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, keep looking out for the later this month. The Sonic Heroes review should come out, barring anything crazy happening. That being said, I hope I'll make the Shadow review cool. I have ideas of what I want to do, and I hope it will fit expectations and surpass it. Because I kind of want to cap off that era of Sonic, at least from my perspective. So we're going to end stream soon. Like I said, if we can get 500 subscribers, we'll see a review of a commentary stream on basically the Digimon stuff. So yeah, see you all then, and yeah.